Hey guys, it's Bill from Linden, Tennessee. Well, as you can see, I've got quite a bit done since last weekend. This was apart and paint was drying. This weekend, I've got it almost all back together. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Man, not really a lot to cover if you've been following this build, but man, if you haven't been following this build, there's too much to cover, and I would kind of ask that you go back several episodes on my channel here and find them. If you have any specific questions, just put them in the comments for me. But we'll just kind of start at the front. A few additions. This is my power takeoff output that I've been talking about. This will be for the front. Any accessories that I put on the front, I have one of them actually sitting in the garage. We'll talk about that here in a minute. But it could be anything. It could be a generator, it could be lights, could be anything that runs off 48 volts. Actually, it could be anything that runs off just about any voltage, because I have a voltage speed controller that will regulate the voltage coming out of this thing. So you could run anything, actually, up to 48 volts. So that's kind of cool. Down here on the bottom, got my coolant lines coming from the controller, and I made that little protector. So it's just nice and simple, and I think it's going to be more than sufficient for any bumps or logs or anything. It should be very strong. I don't know if I should have put a sort of a third or like a center leg going up, because if I did hit something right there where that bends, that metal could bend. I don't know, but it's pretty solidly mounted. I don't know. We'll see when we get there. There was a big question. What should I do with these calipers? Should I paint them red? Or tell me any car that's worth having that doesn't have red calipers. That's what you do with performance vehicles. You paint calipers red. Up here, I haven't seen this up here for a while, my coolant catch tank. I haven't tightened any of these fittings yet, but I'll remember to do that after I fill it up with coolant and leaks all over everywhere. That's that. What else? I went ahead and painted all the screws sort of yellow all by themselves, and some of them I'm not sure if they should be yellow, like these ones. I think these need to be black, and those ones right there, I think they should be black also. I don't know. Yeah, I think they need to be black. It's pretty easy to fix. Ones like this, yellow's fine. Obviously, that's good for yellow. Ones like this, probably black. I mean, it really doesn't matter, and I realize that. And moving back, nothing else is new, I don't think. So where these go through the frame and then come over, right here, I don't remember if I showed it, but mounted to the transmission, I've got like a bracket. I don't think we can get in there. Get a light, see if we can get in there. I'll find my camera. No, you can't really see it, but anyway, there's a junction. Yeah, there's a junction in there. So power comes from the PTO contactor on the other side, comes down under the motor to these little stud terminals right here, and then one of them goes this way, one of them goes that way. The ones that go that way come over here. And we can do it that way. We do it that way. Maybe we can do it that way. I don't know why. Why not? Maybe we can. Maybe. Where's my camera on this thing? There we go. Take my word for it. And then they come over, do like a little crossover here in the middle, and then go on up that side, and then they'll terminate with another one of those Anderson connectors on my back seat. And then that will power rear accessories, such as a tiller or a lawnmower or a wood chipper or anything 48 volts or any other voltage, because like I said, it's got a speed controller that regulates the voltage up to 48 volts. Then yeah, coming around on this side, I did actually try and bleed these brakes. It seems like, I don't know the condition of this master cylinder, but it seemed to bleed itself. Like you run this back around into the reservoir and you just recycle coolant, and it seems to work. and then it started bleeding. It got brake fluid all through the lines, got up to the calipers, and then when I started applying pressure to the system, this damn thing started leaking right out of here, right out of the top. This nut was loose, so I went ahead and tightened that, but that wasn't the problem. It was up here at the top. There's a little seal up there, I guess. I don't know. Chinesium. What are you gonna do? So I ordered another one off Amazon. It should be here next week, and I'll go ahead and install it. If it doesn't work, then I'll probably just get rid of it entirely and make a little jumper that goes between these lines and go ahead and bleed the system. And then what I can do is I can come down here and I can put like a little manual linkage for the parking brake. So that way I can just step on this thing, put the little manual link down, and there it is. Yeah, so that's what I'll do. Or I could have like a little knob maybe with a, it's got like Loctite in it or something. It's got some resistance going through, and the little knob, you could push it down and then push the knob and it would stay on. I don't know how I'll do it, but it'll be something. I'll have a parking brake of some description. Up here, got all this stuff in. Anybody know how tight to make these? How tight to make a cam belt? I mean, it's kind of tight. I don't think it's gonna slip. It's not too tight. Maybe, I don't know. Over here is just crazy. I had to refer back to one of the previous videos where I was walking around this when the fabrication was finished to try and remember how all this went, because you know, this is negative. This is a negative lead going to the controller, and then from the controller it goes straight back to the battery. So that's negative at all times, and then that feeds up to this power takeoff controller, and then this line goes around and down to that junction box over there I was talking about. This side here, this goes around in front and feeds up to the positive post of the battery. So this is positive at all times. So between these two, there's always 56, 48, you know, 48, 56 volt potential. There's always, so these are hot, so you don't want to touch them together. Make a big spark. And then from here, through this bottom fuse, it comes over, and this goes up to the DC-DC controller. So it's kind of like the alternator to charge the 12 volt battery. And this goes around up to the charger, so to charge the battery. And then this side, these are 50 amps fuses. This is massive overkill for these little wires, but, and this is another 50 amp fuse. And then this one goes around, comes down, and goes over to that junction box. And that's the positive side for the power takeoff. And like I said, this comes up into this contactor. And, you know, normally there's no connection between these two, so that power takeoff is dead. And then I just flip a switch, and that arms the speed controller, and I've got a little knob where I can turn up the amount of voltage that's going through the system, and you know, and then I've got another switch that I flip that makes that contactor makes the contactor contact. Yeah, and it gives full battery voltage and amperage to the accessory. Coming around this way, I did a whole bunch of wire tidying up down there, which you can't see. So I spent a lot of effort tidying up and making that look really nice down there, but you can't see it. This is, of course, my my winch feed in and out. And, of course, the new winch is up there looking fabulous. And I got for my fog lights or any other sort of 12-volt accessory, you know, I could run lights. I could do anything that's 12 volts. I could run an inverter, a little 12-volt inverter if I wanted to. And I probably will want to. Let's see. I think that's it. This paint looks fabulous. My buddy Kevin did a fantastic job shooting the paint on this. We did 2 coats of Cub Cadet yellow. And back here, of course, we got my 3-point situation. Wheels. So what's left? We got the wheels to paint white. We got the console here to paint white. That's really what I'm waiting on now to have this thing going. I got the console to paint white. Actually, let's just skip to that right now and see how that's coming. A little bit of paint action on the wheels. Grill panel looking good. Still waiting on a buddy to do the CNC work for a panel that's going to go right there with the actual switches on it. But yeah, old Kevin is hooking me up. yeah, so there you go. It's in the works. Now that should, today is Monday, Memorial Day, Happy Memorial Day. And so tomorrow those will, well, probably dry today, but tomorrow we'll shoot a second coat on all that stuff. And then, come Wednesday or Thursday, I'll bring it home, go ahead and get the tires mounted back on the wheels, get them on there, get that console on here. And then I'm waiting on my little, I got a little thing that's getting engraved, to say what all the switches do. I still need to get a seat. I don't have a seat. I have a seat that's torn and it's all cracked and rusted on the mounting points. I still need to get a seat. And I've been looking in the front here to see what I can do with my, get back up there. See what I can do with this, because at the moment, my upside down plow here. So those little arms go to the back little pins back there. And then in the front, it latches onto that right there. But at the moment, it's like stuck to this plow. It's stuck to this snow plow. But I want it to be multifunction. I want to be able to do other stuff with it. I might want to put a tiller on the front. I think it'd be cool to have a tiller on the front. And I have a brush cutter, a heavy duty brush cutter. So the idea is that you walk behind this thing and you got some hand brakes so you can steer it left and right. And then you like pop a wheelie if you get to a big tree and it kind of knocks that down, and it, it's just basically a big heavy duty lawnmower. So I'm going to mount that to the front here, and I'll be able to control the tilt of this. So normally you push down on the handlebars and you tilt the front up so you can get a big tree or whatever. I'll be able to control that with the winch. So I can pull the winch in and it'll lift the front up and cut down big trees or cut down shrubbery or whatever it is that I'm doing. And that's going to mount on the front, and that's going to be pretty cool. So I need to come up with a way to utilize these arms and, take that stupid plow off, because 99.9% of the time I'm not ever going to use that plow. And what I was thinking about doing is some sort of a 3-point arrangement. So not a category 1 3-point like this, but maybe a category 0 like what's on my other little tractor. So maybe put some little lift arms on that to run a category 1. And what I may end up having to do is make like a brush guard, something that comes up high, and then this winch line would go up onto a pulley on that and then down to pick up the implement, instead of having this sort of strange acute, sort of not steep angle. I don't know, but maybe that'll be fine. Maybe it'll work. Maybe it'll work. I don't know, but we'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, so very exciting week. Now it's just looking forward to getting a few more parts, and once I got my instrument panel and all that stuff, I can put this wiring back in there, and it won't be but a few hours, and I can have the motor turning. So very exciting, very excited to get all this done. Before I go too far, I'm sure there's stuff that I forgot, but I need to cut that grass. So I'm gonna go cut that grass. It's gonna take about an hour, and I'll come back. If I think of anything else, I'll let you know. Okay, we'll see you in a minute. Okay, for a number of dumb reasons, I didn't get the grass cut. But what I did do is I got that mower all apart. Taking a million pieces. Kind of cool thing about this is it's at least a 2-speed transmission with a reverse. So I think what I'm going to do with this is I'll get those tires to hold air again. I got a little swivelly front tire right there. I'll put that little swivelly front tire in front, and some sort of just a simple cheap electric motor right there, run it off of a 12-volt battery or whatever I got laying around, and use one of these hand controls as a throttle, and then it'll just be on, and then you reach down and you put it in reverse or whatever, and I'll make a little powered cart, and that'll be kind of cool. It'll occupy a whole lot of room in a shed that doesn't have very much room, and I probably won't use it but once or twice. that's what I do. Another thing I did was I got the plow apart. I guess it's from the factory. These are welded on right there. But the weird thing is the little stubs that come out. They've got where's that? Well, they have they're hole. They have a hole in it for a cotter pin, which is sort of weird because it's welded. It's welded around here, and on the oh, you know, the thing that the white part that's on there right now, whatever you want to call. Anyway, on that you can't like bend that. So I mean, you can't remove this at all. To get this part on there, I had to bend the snot out of those little arms, and then I had to bend them back for it to all line up. It's crazy, but anyway, so I cut these off, and dude, these are hard, man. This is like really hard steel. I murdered a Sawzall blade to get it, and then I got the old angle grinder out, and well, that took care of it. But man, I don't know why they made these things so hard. I'm just gonna replace it with whatever size rod that is, 5/8, 3/4, whatever it is. Yeah, and I'll just put you know, I'll put like a flat on one end, maybe, and then, you know, when I slide this up to where those holes are in the front, then I can just slide that pin through and pin it on the other side, and I mean that'll be fine. So I don't know why that is hard. Anyway, likewise, I'm gonna do the same kind of thing here. I'll make some little brackets. I got these existing holes right there from the mount for the blade there. So there's these two mounts hold the blade to the deck, and then this third one, all three of those are just kind of, that's what held the deck to the rest of the machine. And I'm probably going to just get me a piece of I don't know, 1/4 inch or 3/8 plate, and then just run along here, drill those 3 holes, and then use that to weld some sort of a bracket or something to fix into there, and then that little pin that I was talking about that I'll slide through there, and then cotter pin on the other end to hold that in, is what I'll use to hold it on the bottom pivot. Now what I will need to do is this can't like ride on the ground. That's these little skids that you're supposed to keep it on the ground. Now I can't have it do that ever, because as soon as those skids touch the ground, I don't have any way of steering this thing, because this being way out in front of me, my little power steering thing isn't going to appreciate that. So this is going to hover above the ground somehow all the time, and I'm going to need to come up with some sort of a way to do that. And I don't want to just use the winch for that purpose, because if that winch should happen to unwind on itself, it's supposed to have a mechanical brake of some sort in there, but I'm kind of leery to that. So I'm going to have to come up with something else. I'm going to have to come up with some sort of mechanical way for this thing to stop itself from falling. And then, of course, I'm going to have to find a place for the motor to mount. It'll probably be off to the side. I'd like it to mount straight back in the middle for symmetry purposes. I don't want it out in front because I don't want it to be heavy. So it'll probably be off to the side and towards the back, depending on how those mounts go. That whole deck right there isn't too heavy. It's maybe 60 pounds or something, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, that's how that's going to go. I stood up too fast. Whew. But yeah, I didn't think of anything else that I wanted to talk about with this. Yeah, it's kind of a, oh yeah, nothing to see here. Look at that drive shaft. The only thing I don't really know about is these lines crossing over, like I was talking about earlier. I don't know if that's going to work. And I won't know until I try it. That may end up getting into a bind on a, you know, one turn or the other may put it in more of a bind. It shouldn't, but then during the articulation, during the twisting, one way of twisting is going to twist that little half twist tighter. Maybe, I don't know, it might be okay, or I'll jack that up when I set up those, you know, when I set up the slack for those cables. I'll just jack up the side that puts it into a bind, make sure it's not in a bind, and then when I lower it, it'll be fine. Right? Right. Okay. I think that's all for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.